Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be starting right after this song.
Trying to get out the city, born up in the nitty gritty. Good old boy was treated shitty, running, flying, need no pity. Family life was blowing up, not enough love for my cup. Trying only to look up, even as a baby I knew what's up. Trying to get out the city, born up in the nitty gritty. Good old boy was treated shitty, running, flying, need no pity. Family life was blowing up, not enough love for my cup. Trying only to look up, even as a baby I knew what's up. Ran away for college, trying to obtain that knowledge. For a baby boy Thomas to know himself as flawless. I was growing up in bondage, Tourettic, mind unpolished. Locked it up like a hostage, cause I was constantly admonished by my family, by my friends. I'm the weird kid yet again, piss me off and I demolish you. Nothing but the honest truth, it will just astonish you. Put you in a lock or two, only keep a couple few people close to me, but who? That is for me, not you, but please know that I love you too. Keep you in my heart and mind, and I will always root for you. Succeed and love your life, even get a husband, wife. Just here to make art for the soul, express my strife. But if I find a goddess, then I gotta be honest. I'll give her my entire heart, no need for being modest. All these thoughts driving through this town, it's honestly ironic. When I left at 18, said I'm never coming back, I promise. Trying to get out the city, born up in the nitty gritty. Ghetto boy was treated shitty, running, crying, need no pity. Moved on back and stuck here now, hoping things and change were wow. Post-storm leaders made a vow, then lie and steal and stay highbrow. Trying to get out the city, born up in the nitty gritty. Ghetto boy was treated shitty, running, crying, need no pity. Moved on back and stuck here now, hoping things and change were wow. Post-storm leaders made a vow, then lie and steal and stay highbrow. Panama City politicians always clown. After Hurricane Michael, they left us all to drown. 5 million stole from FEMA, yeah, they thought they'd get a crown. Good old boy syndrome is the only party in this town. Kick them out of office, tear the entire system down. Charge $500 a month with wires, lay up on the fracking ground. No power, no phone, but we're paying for it anyway. Set they ass on fire, profits over people is the way. Burn them all down, take our money back, let them pray. Feed them to the fishes and the sharks up in the bay. Take this fight national, those phonies always stray from doing what the people want. They just look to prey on our fears and feed us lies through propaganda every day. Set us against each other so that we just fray and weaken our defenses. Yes, this is their play, so vote them out of office and please don't forget to spay.
This is Thomas Tourettic reminding you to please spay and neuter your politicians by voting them out of office and petitioning for term limits in the Senate and Congress. God bless America.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 21st episode of Light, Thunder, Action here on Facebook and the HWWS WebTV YouTube channel. I am Thomas Carter Rochester, a.k.a. Thor, son of Dale.
And I'm David Thompson, a.k.a. We're just talking Batman today. That's it. Nothing else. I'm just kidding.
I am Batman.
I'm vengeance. Okay.
Vengeance.
We'll get there. We will get to the Batman. But today, episode 21, we have a great. I mean, this is just teed up to be maybe the most fun show we've done because we're just talking. It's just all candy. Everything we're talking about is great. There's no bad news today. There's no the theaters aren't opening back up. There's no delays. There's no nothing. It's all candy today. We're updating you guys on the tournament of trilogies. We're gonna have our final two for the next trilogy we will be reviewing later today. We will be discussing Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, obviously continuing our Trilogy of Trilogies segment, and with one of the best ever with Empire Strikes Back. But before that, today we will be diving deep into DC Fandome, the DC film event, well, just DC in general event, but mostly films. that happened yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you guys tuned into that. It was such an exciting time. We have so much to talk about, and we're going to be diving right into that today. Thomas, how are you doing, man?
I am alive. I am fan-freaking-tastic. I was so busy yesterday.
Yeah.
I had multiple meetings going on while trying to keep up with the fandom, and I missed certain things live. I watched a lot of stuff.
I missed a lot, yeah.
With the sound being off, I was like, oh, it's a good thing no one can see me on this call right now. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I have learned so many things. My brain exploded. I could not sleep last night. It's I really want to touch on something you mentioned in the beginning. Did you ever think after 20 weeks of will they, won't they, in terms of the theaters opening or closing, that when they actually closed, we would end up with 1,000 times more news? It's it literally the exact week after Fandome hits, and now that's spoiler alert, that's our entire news segment today.
Exactly.
There's a scary potential. It takes up the entire episode. Who knows? Hopefully not.
Yeah, we'll try to push through. We're not gonna try to recap too much. We're going to give our thoughts, and we have a lot of them. But yeah, that is a very good point.
I have all of the thoughts. That's why I'm worried about it going so long.
Yeah, exactly.
David, where? Oh, yes.
I was going where you were. We're on the same page, brother.
Same page. Let's go. Where can everyone find the audio version of this podcast?
Yeah, guys. So if you guys aren't watching us live right now on YouTube or Facebook, you can check us out on our audio version of this show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Also on our hosting site, Spreaker. If you can't catch us live, you want to watch or listen to the audio when you're running, working out, driving, you can find us there normally about 48 hours after our show goes live. Thomas, what else do you got for me? What is the Tournament of Trilogies update?
Well, first, like I said at the top of the hour, you can always find us here live on our Facebook page on the weekends, Lights Thunder Action Show, as well as streaming to the HWWS WebTV channel on YouTube. We are here. We are proud, and we're trying to move swiftly. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Tournament of Trilogies. And I have egg on my face, ladies and gentlemen. The Godfather was besieged. They was stabbed in the back. They took the gun. They left the gun and took the cannoli. Indiana Jones whipped Godfather down a few pegs. And let me go ahead and bring up right off the bat. I'm just going to jump right into it. We're moving along. Indiana Jones, 115 votes. Godfather, 45.
Yeah, wow. I mean, really? And let's look back at what did Godfather do last time it was up?
97.
Yeah, so a real big dip for Godfather, which I think is pretty surprising because I feel like it's such a popular and beloved movie franchise. So pretty interesting. But hey, Indiana Jones moves on. That sets up our final round for the next Tournament of Trilogies.
Keeps it exciting, that's for sure. Yes, so Godfather went from the number 6 highest ever vote. Well, actually, when it happened, it was originally the 5th highest. Yeah, and then that didn't work out this week. So Indiana Jones wins by 70.
Yeah,
70.
It's setting up. Yeah, well, we'll see if that keeps rolling through because now it's up against Jurassic Park. So.
Steven Spielberg trilogy versus a Steven Spielberg started trilogy.
Yes.
Interessante.
I'm not sure what I'm rooting for. I mean, I'm not going to vote, obviously, or anything, but I don't know. We'll see. Kind of Indiana Jones.
I'm feeling the indie. Honestly, both of these will be fun, but I'm really feeling indie right now because I know that if I end up at the end of Jurassic Park 3, I'd be like, ooh, well, now I can go watch Jurassic World and catch all the Easter eggs.
Right. And I will say, that's a good point. Both of these are going to be fun. So I think we're both excited for the either or. We'll be happy. I think one thing that makes me want to get Indiana Jones more is that having watched Harrison Ford in Empire, it's ooh, I just want more Harrison Ford. And that's a bit of a tease for the later discussion about some of my thoughts on Empire. But so go vote, guys. Is the poll live, Thomas?
The poll is not live. We have ran into the technical difficulties thanks to Zuckerberg. And we will get that up once most likely I'll just wait until the morning to get it all ready.
It'll be up soon,
I think we might, this is literally me spitballing live on the air because this is what I do. I was thinking about just dropping every poll, starting them Monday morning, and then they'll go till midday on Saturday. And whether we have a show on Saturday or Sunday, it'll always be that same time frame of vote. You get 6 days to vote, WPOW, etc.
Yeah.
But I just want to do so many impressions right now. But we are going to move swiftly along to the most important. You know what? No, we will take a quick pause. I would be remiss if I did not say hello to all of our fans that have joined us. Terry McIver, it's late as balls over there in Ireland. It's definitely bedtime for me over there. Kyle Nunez, hello there. I see my friend Rachel Simmons has popped in. What's up, Rachel? How you doing? We have a lot more watching us. Thank you for tuning in. If you're just now joining us, you're coming in a hair bit late. We're going to be covering all of the DC fandom. Remind me that there's a graphic I did not make, and I'm ashamed I didn't make it, but it's huge news. Okay. It's going in. It's already in the show notes, so don't worry about that. Okay. Thank you all for joining us. We have a litany of information for you today, and what segment will that information be in? Well,
what the news?
Oh, and what the news it is. This is our biggest what the news segment we've ever done because all of DC Fandome was us sitting back going, what the news? Because there was so much news and all of it really was. I mean, honestly, like there was some filler in between different, each segment that was like just kind of like creators talking and executives and everything. And it was really interesting. But for the most part, like at the beginning of each segment, when they were actually going, it was just news, trailer. And yeah, so Thomas, before we dive into getting into particular segments, how would you rate or what did you think of the event as a whole? Because this was, a new event overall. Like we're used to Comic-Con, we're used to things of that nature where it's in person, Hall H, that kind of feel. This was you go to this one website, you enter the Fandome, and you're in there, and we're getting these, pre-recorded little things. Thomas, what were your overall thoughts from the event as a whole?
I absolutely loved it, David. Yep. I started watching it at the exact same time that I had to be in a class. I just threw it on over here, and it was on there, and I was like, oh, okay, they're doing Wonder Woman. And then once they got to the trailer and the footage, I was like, ooh la la. I'm glad I can't hear this because it would reveal lots of spoilers. And then I've since watched it like 30 times. So.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say sometimes with trailers, like there was no me pre-screening this time with Fandome. I
was pre-screening.
Yeah, I was going to say you were the ones pre-screening because especially, the Batman trailer you saw before I did because you were watching it live. But anyway,
yeah, honestly, I loved every minute of it, and the best part about Fandome is those fillers that they were doing weren't just filler.
No, yeah.
Sometimes the question would be, it's like, oh, that's a really good question, and then they're like, yeah, I'm doing this. Like, I think one guy mentioned in one of those question and answer things that, hey, I'm making a Batman if I make a Batman comic, he will be black. And it was like, it seemed like such a throwaway moment when that said that it almost slipped through the cracks, but that's a huge announcement.
Yeah, there was a lot of little stuff like that, or even I forget his name. He's like the president of DC Films now. And he was talking about he dove into how like the multiverse, and they were talking with the
Jim Lee.
It was Jim Lee, and he was joined by I forget his name.
Well, he was joined by Greg Berlanti and someone else. I don't know who the third person of.
Yeah, and I liked him a lot. He knew what he was talking about. He's apparently the head of DC Films. I'll try to look it up. But anyway, they were discussing how the multiverse, how it's like affected in the DCEU and all these different like movie now, and they talked about the Joker being like an Elseworld story and the Batman being just in a different, like universe essentially. So it's like they're basically confirming how it's not connected. There was so much just confirmation, and almost like you're saying, they like casually be talking, but it's like, wait, what did they just say? Like that's a big news, and it's stuff that we've been speculating, and a lot of other fans have been speculating about for months, and they were just casually kind of just throwing it out there. But anyway, we'll dive in, one by one. Yes. So where should we begin, Thomas?
Where,
Walter Hamada, I'm sorry, the president of DC Films.
Oh,
he was very, very good in that panel. And I really, I thought he had a calming presence. He knew what he was talking about. He seemed very, this was, I think, one of the biggest things, talking about just the event as a whole, my opinion, is DC has been doing a great job this year of getting our attention. They're the ones winning 2020. No one else is.
Yes.
And Marvel's taking L's. They've been, everything's been pushed, and there's no excitement getting built with them at all. They lost all that because that would happen last summer for them, and we were all excited, and now we're just sitting on our hands, and it'll come back. But DC is sitting here being like, hey, we're kind of soft rebooting what we've been up to the last decade, and getting a real plan and a real identity. And what's cool about it is what Walter Hamada was saying, and it was kind of explaining, is that it doesn't all have to be connected and all the same like the MCU. There is this multiverse that we're getting into, and there's an Elseworld stories they described it as with the Joker, and there can be more of those coming. And the Batman doesn't have to be showing up in the Justice League, and there can be another Suicide Squad movie that is connected but is totally different and doesn't have to do with the David Ayer movie. The David Ayer movie, released the Ayer cut. So anyway, I thought it was just really interesting, really prudent. I thought, Walter Hamada gave me some Feige-ish vibes in a way, just with with the kind of planning idea. And he seemed confident in his idea. It wasn't we don't really know. Even them hosting this event showed that they have a plan they're proud of and they're confident in. There's a difference between shying away from Comic-Con and then hosting a main event for 12 hours or however, for 8 hours. So anyway, big kudos to DC. They're killing this year. Just the Snyder Cut alone, when that news dropped a few months ago, that broke the internet. And now we're getting Snyder Cut trailers and so much more. So I'm just so excited to dive in today and kind of relive parts and just talk about it, man.
I have goosebumps. Right now, listening to you're hyping it all up. I'm a little bit jealous because I did miss that multiverse panel. And
it was really interesting.
I forgot to turn it back on last night after because I started going into the trailers that had come out, just getting ready for today's show. And this morning I was on my way back to the house and I was like, oh, yeah, the Batman panel's in 20 minutes. And I'm like, oh, dude, that means it's all over in 20 minutes.
Yeah. One thing that, I know, right? They saved the best for last. One thing that I think you want to, one point I thought you would think was really interesting about that conversation was they discussed the television show and how they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths last seasons or whatever. And how by the end of the spoilers, I guess, for Crisis is that by the end there was kind of just the one Earth, right? There was just Alpha Earth, Maine, whatever. Yeah, quote unquote. Earth Prime, exactly. And they were kind of explained how there was a fan question actually that came in, and they asked who's the guy who heads the TV department? You just said his name earlier.
Greg Berlanti. Yeah,
he was saying that the question was essentially, so is there no more multiverse in the CW verse, the Arrowverse? And he's like, no, that's not true. And they mentioned how with Ezra Miller's Flash popping up in Flash, that might not be a solitary event, basically, where there could be more crossing over. And they were just very, I don't know, just kind of bold in saying the multiverse is a thing. It's what we're doing, and this is where we're going. And I think it's a good, it's kind of a sellout just to be like, hey, there's a multiverse, and that's how everything works. But it's working really well for them. I think it's giving them this logic that makes me, at least in my brain, connect okay, the Batman being not in the Justice League, that's fine. It's a multiverse. They're building it. We're getting freaking Michael now. It is what we need. That's what DC, I think they're kind of backing off from having to build a super cohesive one storyline to being like, hey, let's give creators room to breathe. Let's make it a multiverse so we don't, paint ourselves in a box or, paint ourselves in a corner. and I think it's really smart by them, especially with just how DC, just the nature of these DC IPs, because you need these branches, and like we're having essentially 2 Batman-like video games coming out, don't even really involve Batman, and then a Batman movie, and then we have Batman Justice League, like, and then Batman in the Flash, like Batman's all over the place, and we're still super hype about his origin, his solo movie.
Batman was all over the place. Every single thing they did tied back. There was a Joker panel, and that was talking about all the Jokers throughout history, and it basically was just a recap of him and Batman throughout history. They had Batman voice actors from across the world, the foreign language dubs that they do, and they're talking about how amazing it is that they get to be Batman. You know, they are the voice of Batman, whether it's playing Christian Bale's version or the Lego version. A lot of the same guys got to do Batman in all those iterations. So they go from being very serious Michael Keaton Batman to a little bit more raspy like Christian Bale, and then it's like, hey, look, I'm Batman. No, I don't want to take my cowl off, Alfred. It was great, and they get to enjoy that growth. And it was basically that was one of my favorite panels because I had that voiceover class yesterday.
Right.
And it led right into me just getting like a second class, but this time in another language, or actually like 14 other languages. The quote unquote filler was amazing. Even Chris Daughtry's performance, he had the Deadpool dressed as Batman statue in his background, and I was like, that's awesome, dude. I don't even like Chris Daughtry. Like, whatever, man. He makes music. Congratulations, that's awesome. Like, not my thing. I don't want to say I'm not a fan in the sense of like I don't like him, but like I'm not a fan of his. It is like he is who he exists, and I have no feelings whatsoever.
That's all right.
I enjoy good music, and it was about Superman or something. I wasn't paying attention. I can't lie.
All right.
But you asked earlier, where do we start? And we got to start at the beginning, baby.
Yeah, let's go back.
Go back to the future.
Go back to a few episodes from before this.
So the day started off with Wonder Woman 84. And I did not get to listen to the panel and everything going on. But I also, for that movie, did not want to because it comes out soon. And I knew that they'd be releasing footage, and the trailer alone would give me a lot. Listening to how they dive into characters makes me a little bit more worrisome, I would say.
Yeah.
So I want to. Sorry, everyone. I was reading a message from David in the private chat because it didn't make sense. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
What? I'm very
was
glad you did that.
Full disclosure, I was texting Thomas that it sounds kind of like his mic is not on, and we're hearing him through the computer chat, which is perfectly fine. I'm sure everyone's been able to hear your thoughts, but I just want to make sure that for our audience, and especially our audio listeners, whenever this comes out on audio, that the audio is up to snuff. So,
it's up to snuff now, baby.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah. So if you were not enjoying the Batman vibes, then you need to know that I am vengeance. Wonder Woman 84.
Comment if Thomas sounds a lot better now.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman 84 was colorful. Linda Carter came on and had a question, and then they chat back and forth. But there was a trailer, and I don't really know what else to talk about other than this trailer. And
cheetah.
Exactly, but we got to see the trailer, right? So let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's take a look.
We're not going to watch this entire thing. There are two main points I want to see.
Yeah.
One of them is coming up soon somewhere. That is not it. Where are you? This is super fun to find. Here we are.
Diana, look at you. It's like no.
What's her love interest name again?
Say that again.
What's her love interest name again? What's that guy's name in the movie?
Steve Trevor.
Yeah. How is he back? That needs to be explained.
Well, that's why I got in about here.
You've always had everything, while people like me have had nothing.
I think it's gonna come up soon. Oh no. No, I cut in too early. Damn.
I like this like halfway cheetah look.
Right? How she's just like American.
Yeah,
not
she's
Americanized,
not, like,
but it's just grounded.
She's not fully in like the cheetah whole thing.
Here we go.
Shout out Mandalorian being the bad guy.
That is Din Djarin indeed. I'm wondering if this jet turns invisible due to a cloaking device. 100%.
That'd be sick.
100% serious.
I forgot to
Might.
Will they shoot at us? There it is. Did you see that?
Yes. I did see that.
That's the key here. I'm going to pause here. Obviously, at that point in time in the trailer, Maxwell Lord, played by Pedro Pascal, is doing something, and there's a question on whether or not it's adapting a story about an eye. I didn't want to dive into it because I was worried that it would spoil everything for me.
Yeah.
But I think, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to cut back to the beginning of this trailer right here, and we're going to listen to what he says.
Citizens of the world, I'm here to change your life. Anything you want, anything you dream of, you can have it.
And then boom, that's how we get to Steve Trevor.
Oh, so like he brought him back?
It seems as though he's been able to tap into people's, how I'm reading with the dialogue is he's able to tap into people's dreams and pull it into reality, whether it be from another reality or from this reality. Hard to really tell, considering that Flashpoint, spoiler alert, is apparently going to be going on in the future. That might be a way to tie everything back together as well. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
But that is a very important piece of information. It seems, if I'm remembering the gist of that eye thing, is it is able to manifest certain things.
Okay. It's funny when you say that, because when I was watching it, my initial thoughts were just that's how, Cheetah gets her kind of powers and stuff, like, oh, you can get anything you want, and it shows her right when she's saying it. So I'm like, all right, like that makes a lot of sense. But what's interesting that this is, I don't know if it's technically a final trailer, but I forget when
the
this
second trailer.
Yeah, but this movie is like, compared to some other. This movie is fully done. Like, this is well done. It's done filming. It's done post. It's done everything. The movie is canned essentially. And like,
wouldn't we have gotten this like 2 days?
It would have been.
Isn't that what?
Yeah. It was supposed to be initially June 5th and then August 14th. And now it's on October 2nd. So it's coming up soon though. Nevertheless, if it stays in August 2nd, which would you? Yeah, so now that's your birthday movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now this movie, it's interesting. Just looking at this trailer, that now this is a movie that's coming out in a couple of months, and then considering other trailers we've seen that we're going to like talk about in a little bit, this movie's coming out in like a year or plus. So it's pretty crazy that, like, I don't know, it's just kind of showing how wild the world is right now with everything being pushed back and stuff, where this movie's completely done. And we're getting this trailer. And we're getting a trailer for the Batman, which hasn't even finished shooting yet. So anyway, Thomas, overall, like, anything else you want to talk about when it comes to this trailer? Just the Wonder Woman 84 panel in general?
Yes. This. Just the...
Yeah.
And look at that cheetah,
dude.
Oh, man.
It's hard to get that.
Missed it.
Oh, nice. Ooh.
Look at that.
Nice.
That is fantastic.
I want to see her in the light.
Same. I'm sold.
Yeah.
That's really all I wasn't sure I wanted them to ever show Cheetah like in that form, but I'm so happy they did, dude. That is
she looks pretty cool. And I think what sold me, quote unquote, I think is when she's lassoing the lightning and swinging off of it. It's such a good shot. We get more of it in this trailer. We've already kind of seen it a bit. We get a couple of swings, like she's freaking Spider-Man swinging across buildings. Super cool.
She's riding the lightning.
It's awesome. But I will say, like, this movie, it makes sense they went first with this film, because it's like, all right, this movie's coming out in a couple months. Like, it's kind of been It's these movies that have been that got delayed when they're supposed to come out, summer blockbusters. It's anticlimactic because it's like, all right, we've had to like delay this, and now we're just trying to put it out, and it's a crappy feeling. This, Black Widow, others, like especially the ones that didn't delay like a full year, where it's like, all right, now we're trying to push it, like we're gonna push it out when there's a 50% occupancy, like Tenet is coming out in a couple weeks, and New Mutants is finally making it out next week, so which is incredible, which is honestly a miracle in of its own that New Mutants is finally making it. But anyway, so. But I'm excited for this movie. I think it'll be really cool. We've seen it. That's a problem too. It's like
Terry McIver in the comments really quick says, "Did you see the invisible jet?" No, me neither.
I will say I'm excited for this movie. This trailer got me back to being excited because I feel like I kind of, like I was saying, I kind of lost the excitement a bit just because it got delayed, and now we're just kind of waiting. But this got me back. I enjoyed the first Wonder Woman movie. It's not my favorite movie ever, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and I think it'll be a fun flick, honestly. Like this movie, it's not holding a ton of weight on my shoulder. I'm not like super amped for it, but I'm excited nevertheless. Like I'm ready, especially with the theaters now being open in some capacity. I'm excited to go back out and see this movie in theaters if it does come out October 2nd. So and this trailer really helped me do that, especially with the showing of Cheetah.
Please come out on October 2nd. I beg of you.
Yeah, I think it will. Unless they like want to save it for getting more money potentially.
Yeah. And also it'll be the first superhero film we get. I don't count New Mutants. It looks like a horror. It doesn't sound fun.
It like for a main superhero flick, yeah.
Exactly.
Wonder Woman
Yeah.
is definitely like
And then it's basically Mulan, Wonder Woman, Black Widow.
When does Mulan come out again?
Fall. September 4th.
Yeah, because it's coming out. Yeah, it's September 4th. It's coming out in Disney Plus now and theaters, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But anyway, Wonder Woman 84. I think it did a great job starting it off. I missed this one. I missed a lot of them live, but I think it did a really good job of kicking it off. Starting where the next film they're having is coming out. And yeah, I think we should move on to someone a little speedier than Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and speaking of speed, we should pick it up. We're slacking a little bit.
Yes, sir.
We gotta jump into Flash time.
What concept art, man?
Yeah, I have bigger versions of this concept art too. Do you want to just hop right into the concept art?
Let's start with the suit. Yeah. So
look at this.
So they announced that this is the new Flash suit for the new Flashpoint movie coming out in 2022, I believe is the release date for this film.
Yes, I believe that is as well.
So it'll be, I think this is one of the ones they want to start shooting fairly soon. We obviously have the news that Ben Affleck will be joining this movie now. He's coming back.
Whoa, actually, that's not super obvious. If you remember, that was like Thursday. We haven't even talked about that. That is like a whole dive of a rabbit hole that we should mention after we mention his next friend.
Yeah. So in the second piece of concept art, and what's interesting is during the panel, I forget the voiceover was saying that Batman made him this new suit. So in my mind, it's a little bit Spider-Man, Iron Man like from in the MCU where he didn't make it, but his mentor, quote unquote, made it. And from this image, it does appear to be Michael Keaton's Batman in the background here, which is so exciting. I wonder, a question I quickly popped up in my head, like right when I saw it, Thomas, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on this. Is it going to be a de-aged Michael Keaton, or is it going to be old Michael Keaton as Batman? Because he looks kind of fresh. Like he doesn't look like Vulture or
yeah. Well, I mean, it is concept art as well.
You're right. But you know what I mean? Like, is it going to be actually old and gray Michael Keaton as Batman, or is it going to be like they de-age him a bit?
I thought they mentioned that he was going to be older.
Okay. I mean, I assume older, but maybe not like as old.
Because we'll take this opportunity to talk about Ben Affleck. So what the news that has come out this week, which led into this panel, and we were discussing amongst ourselves whether or not this was released on, I believe it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday became Bat Day.
Right. Yeah.
I'm back. They released this information and it was like, wow, why is this? And it's because everything that from Fandome was essentially pre-recorded at some point. So they'd already figured out their stuff. And so Ben Affleck is going to be, it sounds like in the beginning of the movie, they're going to have a rapport because they both lost their mothers to murderers. And that's kind of what connects them anyway. They don't realize that. Well, Bruce understands that. Bruce understands Barry's pain. Like, that's terrible. And your father was, you say he was innocent. That's even worse. And they have a relationship already. And we're going to get to see that more fleshed out in the Snyder Cut, which will make it even more exciting.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go back in time, spoiler alert, and mess with stuff. Is probably by accident, is my guess. And that's how he ends up with Keaton Batman. And then at that point, you got to think, oh, it's another version of Bruce Wayne. Oh, this guy's like way old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You want to help me? Oh, okay. Oh no, like the other Batman's gone. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting. But it's a Batman mentoring Flash, which is something that it's basically like their first attempt at doing a Batman and Robin, or a Batman Beyond.
Ooh, yeah, that's
higher. Warner Brothers.
Definitely Batman Beyond-ish with the old Batman and Michael Keaton. I mean, that's been a long rumored thing. Like if they make a Batman Beyond movie, they'd have Michael Keaton come back as Batman. That could still happen. This is even positive news for that. So yeah,
I'd be cool with Kevin Conroy coming back, and because he's old now, so he could literally be old man Bruce Wayne, and he's got that voice.
Yeah, he definitely could. I will say that this movie, this movie got me more excited for this film. I feel like this movie in general, the Ezra Miller Flash, has been rumored for so long, like for the actual solo movie. And I think, like I said, this is a sign that DC is getting their crap together, getting a plan, getting some, forward momentum with a lot of their projects, especially these up and coming ones like the Flash, where it's like, oh, this is exciting. We're getting some calls back from, and even Ben Affleck now checking out the script and being like, hey, I'm actually open to returning to this character, even though he had previously said he wasn't going to. So very interesting. And something that I think that's really exciting is just that we're going to move into the Snyder Cut very soon, is that the Snyder Cut maybe they haven't explained that yet, is if the Snyder Cut is retconning Justice League 2017, like the original, or what we're dealing with. Because I have a feeling that the relationship we're seeing from Ezra and Ben Affleck's Batman in the Snyder Cut will be the transition from that to the Flashpoint movie. And that is going to be awesome. Like if that's the case, because that's, I think, giving Snyder Cut more weight to it. Instead of just us having fun and enjoying the 4-hour event it's going to be, it'll actually give us some story like to continue on with. So that's really exciting. And it's giving Snyder Cut some more to like be excited for.
Yes, I agree. And there's still a potential that Grant Gustin can appear in the film.
I think it might happen, especially after watching that panel with them talking about the multiverses and stuff. They seem very open to it, and that they can do it in a quick and easy way where it wouldn't be too confusing.
They could legitimately just use the same footage if they wanted to, if they wanted to, or they could, refilm it and extend it just a little bit. And what we saw in the show would be how one Barry remembers it, and what we saw in the movie is how the other Barry remembers it. Because
it would be really cool
you play with perspective of the character. And they showed it a bunch of times, and you're just like, wait, you don't know about oh my God, I don't know about what. You can't do this to me. And then he's fading away, and he's like, I told Victor this was possible. And it's like,
it'd be beyond cool to see the it almost reminds me of Back to the Future, where you see like the other angle of the exact same scene. That would be super cool for that. Even though that's not like a scene that everyone going to see this movie is going to have seen, but for the big fans that actually care about that sort of stuff, that'd be really neat to show. So maybe throw that in there, guys.
It's a good way for Warner Brothers to market the different versions of Flash as well. Like when they brought it into the show, it was like, oh my God. Okay, well, I obviously have to save the multiverse because there's still a planet out there that still exists that's not destroyed completely. And we were talking about 2020. That was January 10th, I believe, that episode came out, bro.
Wow.
So since January 10th,
Yeah.
they have been 100% knocking it out of the park.
Yep.
DC, baby. You know what else knocked it out of the park? Dark Side.
This is crazy. We're actually getting this. I mean, if you had told, if you had just like said, hey, to some big DC fan 6 months ago and said, hey, here's a Justice League trailer, they would have thought it was fake.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They would have been like, no, like you're joking. And it's real. It's here. It's 99% new footage. And it's just, it's unbelievable. It's really, it's unbelievable to think that they actually had a complete other movie just sitting there that Snyder wanted to make, and they went a different direction and did the mustache and everything. Like they
released the mustache cut.
I mean, it's just like, okay. I mean, I'm excited for this movie or event, however they're doing it. They said, so what is it exactly? They're doing 4 1-hour parts.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. I literally forgot about that. I just keep watching the trailer.
Yeah.
4 1-hour parts, which
So
makes
4
it like
hours.
a mini series, which, you know, would be like in an hour seems to make the most sense as well, because then you have like,
And a 4-hour movie sounds long, but
it
like
it
4
does.
1-hour like parts sounds a little more easy to digest. So I get it in that sense, but I'm going to watch all 4 back to back to back if I can.
Yes. I like it because we were talking at the beginning when it was announced that it's kind of like a graphic novel if they do it that way.
Yeah.
And graphic novels, especially on a limited series or like an event film, which this is an event film.
It is an event film.
This is like if they took Infinite Crisis and made it into a movie, it would have to be 4 hours long.
I really wonder. I mean, I know it's HBO Max. It's the whole thing with it. But I actually read a little, like, I think it was either a tweet or an article, like a line in it saying that they're still figuring out the release of this. Like, it's going to go to HBO Max 100%. But there may be some wider distribution happening. And I think it's not a bad idea. I would love to go see this in theaters. Say 2 weeks after it comes out in HBO Max. Like, there's a, like, you just go and it's 4 hours and it's like a... they can make it maybe a smaller release. They don't make it have these huge expectations or anything. But I don't know. I would just love to go see this in theaters, and I hope they do that in some form or fashion. And I think there's the hype where it could, make them money, make back some of this money they've lost, having to do all these, giving Snyder so much money to actually make the film. So did we want to check out the trailer a little bit?
Yes. So for the trailer, it is long and it has a very prominently known song playing. So we're not going to be able to play all of it. We're going to have to play it in pieces. But really, I just want to look at the beginning and the end.
Let's do it. I love this cover of the song.
Oh,
we got. They can't.
They can't see it.
Yep.
Oh, my bad, everybody. My bad, everybody. That's cool. We'll rewind. Soup. Yep, my bad.
Now I've heard there was a secret.
Dark Side looks awesome.
Dark Side, dude. So this is that alone right there is so really quick. We just got to dive into what we think that is. There was a rumor that Superman was going to be succumbing to this anti-life equation in Justice League, and that Flash was going to have to go back in time. It was rumored that was going to be a thing, and that's how they fixed it. Let's watch a little bit more to see if... Oh, look! The Justice League. This is that nightmare era.
Yeah, the whole nightmare thing.
From Batman Superman.
Yeah.
Pause because
this movie will certainly feel more like a direct sequel probably to Batman v Superman than the original Justice League, because it's both those are Snyder's babies. And I mean, to be honest, I like Batman v Superman I like him probably more than the next person. Like, a lot of people hate on that movie, but it does it does make me think a little bit like, we're super hyped for Justice League, but it's Snyder Cut. It won't be a perfect film. I'm sure it'll be better than the original.
It's going to be bombastic.
It's just, they're just throwing everything in the kitchen sink in it, man. And I think Snyder is almost out just to kind of put his fingerprint back on what he was trying to do. And that's awesome, but I do want to just, be a little cautious. Like, this won't be probably my expectations for the Batman, which I think is just going to be a great
Oh,
film.
dude, no, that's why the Batman is last. So I love that moment right there where Wonder Woman is, inspiring a child. And this right here, I love how they, I'm going to pause on Kiersey Clemens really quick because I love Iris West.
Yeah. Pretty cool. First look
I
at Iris
like
West in the DCEU.
So the way that they demonstrate his powers in that scene alone looks vastly different than
looks better
than what we got in the Justice League. And I'm a huge fan. The fact that we get Kiersey Clemens playing Iris West gives me so much excitement. You know, David, I love me Iris. I love Iris. There was a whole panel on being a boss, and it was a lot of the women of color from all the shows and some of the movies yesterday, and it was a freaking amazing panel. They talked about their characters and like getting things going. Oh, dude, just amazing. I'm gonna oh, I didn't mean to hit play. No, I did, because Cyborg there is something with a death, but really, that Batman, we've seen that multiple times, and that is a vastly different gargoyle situation that he's standing on.
Oh, really?
Because that was, we'll take it back. He is obviously, it looks like it says to protect and serve. So maybe he's either at the police station or he's at a police gravesite or whatever, but it just feels like a gravesite to me.
It's funny, I just noticed that the gargoyle is different.
Ties in with that.
Yeah, maybe he's watching him.
It's like he's watching Cyborg.
Is there, can I see the part?
This? Yeah.
So it was already confirmed that we're getting more Cyborg backstory.
That didn't happen in the Justice League. And the fact that dude, that was we got to go back really quick just to
out of whatever Thomas just did.
I really just wanted to listen to and how it builds.
It's a great trailer.
Oh my god,
man. Trailer is great, dude. I mean, trailers in the DCEU overall have always been awesome. And this is it's the Snyder trailer action where he kills trailers. What's with that? Anyone give me the answer why Zack Snyder is fantastic at trailers? You remember the Man of Steel trailers? They were so good. I remember when I was sitting there, I was in middle school or high school or whatever, and I was just like, this movie looks amazing. And I will say find wherever you want to go next, but a big thing I had with, we all talked about this. I talked about this last week, Thomas, Man of Steel 2 is what I wanted from Fandome. I was begging, I really wanted Man of Steel 2. It didn't happen. There is no announcement of Man of Steel 2, but I will say I'm not disappointed by the event. I was going to mention that at the beginning that my whole thing was I wanted Man of Steel 2 so much, but I think with the direction they're going in, it could still work. And I think there's still hope for maybe it coming at some point. They just don't have the plans yet. And I'm excited for DC in general. So a little disappointed, I guess, but it was that would have just blown my brain off. So
to carry that on, we were talking about what that could be, that schedule, that extra, I think it was a 30-minute panel, and then it got replaced by the Flash TV show, and they brought Titans over. So that's how they filled that time. And we were saying, is it Man of Steel 2, or is it another movie, or is it the Green Lantern HBO Max show, or is it just an HBO Max block?
I will say about Fandome, we got
we have more coming.
Yeah, we do have more coming. Right. That's true too. We have more coming. But for this, the main event, there was no and one more thing moment. You know what I mean? Where I
would argue that there was.
What was it?
Static Shock.
Okay. But that's not blowing my head.
That's not blowing your head. So the reason that's such a big news is they're bringing back Milestone Comics, which I believe DC had bought at some point in the past year. It was a comic book company started by black gentlemen who wanted to make their own stuff about and put their own themes into it. And at the same time, Image was being started up with Jim Lee, and Jim Lee is obviously now in charge of like DC.
Yeah.
And he, along with them, are bringing that back. They're starting new comics, new graphic novels, an animated show, and of their characters, not just Static Shock. And then they've confirmed a live action Static Shock movie is in development. Because it's their IP, and it's all the original creators are coming back under that milestone, because they have under the milestone banner, because they all have more stories to tell, is what they keep saying. So that is huge. I don't know if you ever watched Static Shock, bro.
No.
One of the greatest animated series of all time. And as a superhero, animated series, bro, totally astronomically different level. It's fracking amazing. I almost dropped our FCC regulation one F-bomb there. That to me is the big kahuna, because that is an underrepresented demographic in DC.
Yeah.
Especially in the movies. And that's why I'm excited about Cyborg here, because I personally love Cyborg. He is a tragic character, as tragic, if not more tragic than Batman.
Yeah. So what else did you want to show in the trailer?
It's time. It's time.
Oh, now see, this is where
it's intriguing, because they're smiling, and look at that. There's no destruction.
And he's in his black suit.
And he's in his black suit. We're going to continue here for the last.
Probably fought hundreds of thousands of other super beings on the other planets he's destroyed, right? And we have to assume he's won.
I don't care how many demons he's fought and how many hells. He's never fought us. Not us united.
See, how does that not make the final cut of the original movie? Like, it's like, what's going on? That's such a good line. It would have fit fine in the film. Like, where was that scene?
and see, that's the point. I think so. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first time in a long time to a fan Thory moment. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. So I think that in that scene, he's never fought us, not us united. I think that us united is the most important key word there, because I believe, if there is a time travel situation and they go and fight Darkseid and they lose and they fail, then when he goes back in time and pops in, oh no, I came back too early. Hello. Are we remembering this from Batman versus Superman? Wonderful. Yes, I believe. Yes, and he was having a dream about that nightmare reality where he gets killed by Superman. If Superman's taken over by the anti-life equation and they get to that point, I think what's happening is in that scene, they've all been informed of what actually happened the first time they fought together.
Ooh.
So then he's
well, so then, a lot. That's a really good idea.
Even more, he's just
like
no. Then we have to do it. We have to do it.
Yeah, right.
Our way, united. And it's basically the same as Cap's is like, listen up, Avengers. If you get hit and you get hurt him back. If you get killed, walk it off. We're not leaving here unless every single citizen is off. It's like, here's the gauntlet. This is what's happening.
This is happening.
We win or we die. And it's
there is no try, do or do not. Teaser for later.
I was working, getting these graphics ready and watching that movie. And there's certain parts where I just got sucked in. I was like, oh, it's been 30 minutes. I better get back to work. David, what do you think about the Snyder Cut? Like, how juiced are you right now?
I'm pretty juiced. And what's funny is that this ended up being, I thought it was definitely gonna be the number one thing coming out of Fandome. Really? But it's the second, in my opinion, to the Batman, where we've been teasing this whole time that we'll get to in a little bit. But I will say, like, Darkseid looks awesome. Steppenwolf's redesign looks really good. He looks better, and I just think 4 hours means Snyder gets to really, really play with and do what he wants to do. It's the extended cut of Batman v Superman is so much better than the original, and it's because Snyder makes these long, just stories, and they're not that bad when they're fully told. So I think in this case, it will be fully told, and we will be getting a story that'll be cohesive. And I'm really, really hoping that they say, hey, this is the new canon for the DCEU. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping. And I'm hoping they leave it up to bat for Man of Steel 2, possibly, because that's just what I hope for and everything. And who knows? Maybe Affleck will keep going. There's a lot of forward momentum going with DC right now, and Justice League's kind of at the head of that because it started it.
Yes.
Well, it was one of the biggest things that started it with the announcement of the Snyder Cut, which was a huge thing. I mean, it was kind of just, I think it was really like a look in the mirror for the studio, being like, hey, like fans are crying out, literally.
Yes. It was the new guard at Warner Brothers going, well, they fracked up big time.
Right.
Screw those guys. We're doing whatever we want, you know? I'm so excited for this, bro.
It's still just 2021, I think. I think it's supposed to be in the first half of 2021, but don't quote me on that.
I believe that is what they were saying.
That's like a rumored, I think, assumed thing where it'll be like 2021.
It says at the end of this. Right. You know, you're talking about like how we rank things. Justice League might be number 3 for me.
Okay.
This isn't even a good segue. This is just a tease for later.
Okay.
And because of it, and I'm teasing it because it does matter. It ties in with Superman and what you want in the future. And I have copious amounts of fan theories, baby. But there's no good segue here. We're just going to talk about the Suicide Squad panel now. Because how do you go from, how can you make a good segue from Justice League, the Snyder cut, the David Ayer cut? I screwed it up. Anyways, how do you go from this like very serious, dark thing to what seems to be a very gritty, dark, yet incredibly human and grounded take on the Suicide Squad by James Gunn? It looks bonkers.
Yeah, that's how I would put it.
Totally different way than Snyder Cut looks bonkers.
Yeah, no, I mean, James Gunn, they're letting him do his thing. I mean, I think this movie is going to be like just it's going to be like Guardians turned up to like 15. And that might make the movie a little worse in a way because there's almost so many characters and there's just like going to be so much James Gunnisms. But I love it. I'm so in. This is going to be the popcorn flick of whenever it comes out. Like, go in there, get your popcorn, order a beer or whatever. Like, just enjoy yourself. Like, you don't have to just turn off your brain for a couple hours. Like, it's just going to be.
No, I disagree. I completely disagree. I don't think you have to turn your brain off because I think whatever they're being sent on is going to be this wicked plot line that if you turn your brain off, you're gonna be like, what? Where'd that come from? But it's gonna be layered there the entire time. It's a James Gunn flick, and he used to do horror. And I think this is, they're billing this as a 1970s war movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude. And then the next thing they say is don't get attached. And it's like, yeah,
it looks ridiculous.
1970s war movies killed like everybody.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's going to be in a Vietnam. The reason I say it sounds like everybody's going to get killed, basically, is it sounds like it's a Vietnam approach to war.
Right.
Because, they're basically going to be, they are mercenaries. They are there to kill. They are not there to be good guys. But it looks like a tiny few, are going to go up against a massive army in an entire country. Did you watch the panel?
I did not watch the panel. I watched the behind the scenes.
There were 18 people on that panel, bro.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many people in this film.
Actually 19. I didn't include James Gunn. They had James Gunn in the middle, and then like if our block was 9 and then your block was 9 and James Gunn was sitting here in the middle, that they had 19 people on that freaking panel, dude. And it was bombastic. Do you have the list of characters?
No, I can pull it up though.
Please do, because I'm very excited to see some of these characters. So, like right off the bat, number 1, the 12th, I believe he's the 12th Doctor. Peter Capaldi is playing the Thinker, and if you watch season 4 of Flash, you'll know why I love the Thinker. I'm so excited to see what he does. The fact that he is a doctor from Doctor Who is going to make a nice little wrinkle when it comes to his usurping knowledge. Close enough. I just have so many amazing thoughts. This movie looks wild. It looks super colorful. Like Peacemaker, John Cena, his costume looks, I don't want to say atrocious, because it's like they took it right from the comics and put it on the movie, but it's going to be in the movie. I think they're going to make it a joke that it is atrocious. Like, why are you so colorful? Blah, blah, blah. And then another one is Javelin, who's like bright yellow and blue.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous. Like the Sean Gunn character, the like cat thing. Weasel. Yeah. I had the list here. So obviously Margot Robbie reprising her role as Harley Quinn. This will be her third movie as Harley Quinn now. Viola Davis also reprising her role as Amanda Waller. Jai Courtney also reprising his role as Captain Boomerang. So these are the guys coming back. Another person reprising his role is Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, which were all in the original Suicide Squad movie by David Ayer. And then the new characters in whatever order: Idris Elba as Bloodsport, which was a big reveal because no one knew who he was playing. Sean Gunn as Weasel, like we just mentioned. Pete Davidson as Blackguard. Daniela, I don't know how to say her last name. I hate when this happens. Daniela McGuire as Ratcatcher 2. Nathan Fillion as TDK. Steve Agee as King Shark. So King Shark's in this, and that was a very interesting piece of knowledge to see.
A lot of King Shark these days.
Yeah. Mei Ling as Mongol. There's so many characters. John Cena as Peacekeeper, and there's more on here. I don't need to read them all. Michael Rooker as Savant. There's literally so many.
I want you to read them all.
Oh, well, I just closed the tab.
Because I want people to hear some of these names. Like, they are wild. David Damascus is Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man. That's what I'm saying. Man. Like, you think this movie's not going to be silly? This movie's going to be silly.
It's going to be silly, but then they're going to go from being silly to murdering a lot of people in a lot of weird ways.
I'm just curious to see how. I mean, John Cena's in this movie. Like, I just don't know how serious this movie gets, like compared to Guardians.
I would say it's going to be like Guardians, but it's not going to be. I don't think this is a PG-13 movie, bro. Let me just put it that way.
It could be R.
I think it could be an R movie. Like,
I'd be surprised if it's R.
1970s war movie.
It could be. It'd be a better movie if it was R.
And they keep saying that, like, every time you think you know where it's going, it's not. And it's going to be like, take the Deadpool approach, make it serious, make it gritty, make it grounded, make it real. And then when, like, King Shark eats a bunch of people, and they keep talking about how many body parts explode, heads explode, genitals explode, stomachs explode, people are eaten by sharks. That's a line that they said during the panel. Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me.
Maybe it is rated R.
Yeah, and I think if it's not rated R, I think they're doing a disservice to themselves, because rated R movies can make that money.
Yeah.
When you put somebody who can make a Guardians in charge of and can also make a horror movie in charge of a rated R comic book film, dude, like, they've made Joker. Why not try?
They did make Joker
style. And you know what? Harley Quinn in the Fantabulous Birds of Prey, was that PG-13 or rated R?
It was R. It was R. It was hard R, really. I mean, it was R.
And that is exactly the tone that I think this movie will have, because, you know, Harley Quinn as a character is exactly how she was supposed to be in that movie.
Yeah,
they got it fully right. And so in this, the whole cast together, how can it not be just making fun of all those idiots?
It would be a little weird after the Harley Quinn movie to now go back, because she was like this R-rated out there character, to now kind of have to reel her back in. Like, that would feel a little non-organic, I guess, in a way. So yeah, exactly. I'm hoping it's not a rated R. But you want to know what I also wonder? I wonder if the Suicide Squad game is teen or M or mature.
That is a very good question. I wonder that as well, because
they're gonna kill the Justice League apparently. So
yes.
So
really quick, before you officially hit the game, this is the official trailer for the Suicide Squad. Just look at that.
It looks, it's great. I'm telling you, man, you don't have to turn off your brain all the way, but you can turn off a little and just relax and have a good time. On the second viewing, maybe.
I get Tropic Thunder vibes from this.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Yeah.
You know what? No.
You pull it up.
One.
Yeah. So, we're at the Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League, it's being titled, as being produced by Rocksteady Studios, which is, if you're unfamiliar, they made the Batman Arkham trilogy, if you want to say. Arkham Origins was made by WB Montreal, which you're going to get to in a moment. And the Rocksteady made Arkham Asylum, City, and Night, which are like the three main, they go in order. And this is actually, they said it's actually continuation of that story. So the story in this game will actually continue on the Arkham legacy in that sense. Unlike where we're about to go with Gotham Knights in a moment, where it is a new IP. So anyway, this game, it looks pretty fun. 2022, so it's a little ways off. It's only next gen. So this is, I mean, they just announced it. I don't think it's near being done yet. Like, I don't think it's, who knows? 2022 could be a very long time from now. Like, we don't know when even in 2022. And we only got this, there was no game plan, or not game plan. There's no gameplay. We just got a theatrical trailer, which looked cool. We got to look at the squad and an evil looking Superman that all of a sudden was their kind of new target acquired. There he is.
That looks like John Cena.
It does like John Cena.
I want to know if John Cena. Okay, two things about this really quick. That's the Kingdom Come Superman logo on his chest.
Yes.
Very important. Also, it looks like John Cena. Will John Cena voice this Superman? Like, is he going to be a douchey Captain America, which is how they describe Peacemaker in the show, to becoming evil Superman? Like, honestly,
he's all over DC, maybe. I don't know.
Honestly, give that to me. I did not know I needed that. Like, that is amazing.
Yeah. I will say that this game looks fun. I mean, Rocksteady, I enjoyed the Arkham games. I played them a lot. I really enjoyed those games. They're Batman, so I was all over it. And just the gameplay in those were really fun. The fighting mechanics was always like one of the best parts. So I think this game will be really fun. There's not a ton on this game quite yet, just other than, hey, we're making this. This is the concept. Here's how it looks. Coming out in 2022. So it's a distance away. But it is cool nowadays that we don't have to, see this kind of news at an E3, which is typically like the big video game convention that a studio like DC can just be like, hey, here's all of our stuff. And we come out with movies, and then a video game and another video game, which we should probably get to right now. Unless you have any thoughts on the Suicide Squad game.
Tara Strong. Let me double check that name because I think I just Tara Strong, who started voicing Harley Quinn back in the day, like originally when it was created, is the voice of Harley Quinn in this game.
Very cool.
You can totally. Oh no, we're going in. Oh no, we lost the target. And loses pizza. Like, great. Anyways, Gotham Knights.
So this game is coming out from WB Montreal, WB Games Montreal, which is who made Arkham Origins. So they kind of share the Arkham name there for a bit. Rocksteady and Arkham, Aaron WB. So this is the game we're working on. Court of Owls has been confirmed, but it was also rumored heavily. But
yes,
the game itself is where everyone missed the mark. Everyone thought this game was just going to be another kind of Batman Arkham-like game.
Oh, yeah.
But Batman is dead in this movie, or in this game. In this story, the Batman is dead. And now we have our knights, as they like to call them, to fight. And what's cool, actually diving in, we had some gameplay. This game's coming out 2021. So, and they said it'll be on current gen and next gen for those that care about that kind of stuff. And so we have, what is it? It's Robin, it's Nightwing, it's Batgirl, and then
it's Red Hood.
And Red Hood. So very cool.
What's important to note is all of these are okay. So every one of those guys is a former or current Robin.
Yeah.
And obviously Barbara Gordon is Batgirl, and they've all trained under Bruce and Batman throughout time. But also they've they're growing, and they're going to grow. So Robin later on in the gameplay that they released is Red Robin, and he's in that persona of Robin, and that's going to be really exciting to see. And I'm the thing that really gets me the most is it's not set in the Arkham history. No. It's its own game,
which is interesting.
Which will have, it sounds like similarities. So really now you get all of this. This is going to be a world building game. Like this is the start. So there's going to be so many little Easter eggs that, okay. So they pulled this in from that Arkham stuff, but this is different over here. I'm really excited to see how they play with that.
Yeah, and I think something that I think is going to happen is that we will probably play as Batman at some point, because these games are long and deep. Like you don't just, I don't know, you don't just have a game called Gotham Knights and not have some sort of throwback Batman play. I'm feeling it. I think there'll be something where it's like, because these, I mean, and then they've been working on this game for like years, so it's going to be an in-depth story mode game. But also on top of the story mode is that there's going to be kind of an Avengers-like thing with the Avengers game coming out very soon. We're all very excited about. Check out last week's episode, our talk about the beta that came out, and that there will be some multiplayer action where you can team up with a friend online, and one person could be Batgirl and the other could be Red Hood, and you guys can do missions or like, just fight together, which sounds really awesome. I think no wonder I think this game's taking so long, because I think they're really diving into it'll be a long story. And each character seems like they have their own, special abilities and moves. And I'm just really excited for this game. I'm more excited for this one, I think, actually, than Suicide Squad, just because I don't know. I guess I don't know why. Maybe because it's coming out sooner, and I've been like reading into it a lot more. Like there was so much hype around like Court of Owls and stuff like that, and like, but
creepy.
And I think I like the idea of it still being like a more of a Batman game, where Suicide Squad will be kind of latching out a bit more. And I think there's still part of me that I'd rather would almost be the good guy in a game, which is some stupid to say. Like I'd almost rather be Superman flying around. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
The thing about the Suicide Squad game is I feel like they're going to be very similar.
Yeah.
Both
and I'm
four
kind of
main characters that we've seen. Yeah. See, I'm kind of worried, but also not really, because to me, I play these games for the story. And I think Gotham Knights is going to give you. I think Gotham Knights is more likely to be boring to me than Suicide Squad, because Suicide Squad, you got Deadshot shooting a lot of stuff. Then you've got Captain Boomerang, who looks like he has maybe he has some electrical powers, mate. I don't know why that slipped on, but it did. King Shark is a powerhouse who will eat you, and then Harley Quinn is like a Black Widow with all the bombs, like in terms of fighting style. Really, she's actually a gymnast. She might even be her and Black Widow, ballet and gymnast. I think in terms of how they would translate to fighting style is probably similar. But in this case, they're a little bit more similar. Like I don't really know Tim Drake, who's Robin. I don't really know his fighting style very much. I know that Nightwing is a former gymnast and aerialist, so he has a very fun, I'm probably always going to play with Nightwing. I love Dick Grayson. He's my favorite character.
I mean, I'm sure in the story it'll like make you play with each character one by one. It'll probably be similar to Avengers.
Exactly. It's going to have like character specific missions. And then Red Hood is Jason Todd, reborn after being killed by the Joker.
Yep.
So that's going to be fun to play with. And it's an exciting game. I'm excited for this game. I don't know if I'll end up getting it, because I don't know.
I'll definitely get it. And I'm curious if it'll like set up a sequel. Both these games, Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights. I think Gotham Knights will, because I think they're trying to make something new, fresh, and their own. The WB Montreal team over there, and I think they want to be able to branch out. I guarantee this game will have some DLC missions.
Oh yeah. And
all these games do these days. But
it really looks like the landscape for gaming is about to change with DC and how they're approaching stuff. So you get to play as bad guys, kill the good guys, and you get to play as like the ultimate good guys. Like all of these are people who at times question how far Bruce is willing to go.
Right.
Yeah. So like it's a totally different thing. It looks like they're going to create a new hierarchy. speaking of hierarchy, it's important to note that Dwayne The Rock Johnson wants the world to know that the hierarchy of power in the DC universe has changed with Black Adam.
Great transition.
Thank you. It took me a really long time setting it up, but I have so much to say on this movie.
You start.
Honestly, pictures are worth 1,000 words, baby. This is really the most important thing from this. I kind of already knew what we were going to get from this. The Rock being The Rock and being able to sell a penny to someone who just gave them that penny.
I love how it's The Rock. It's so The Rock. Like they're leaning into it being The Rock, because in the panel, it's just voiceover Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like it's gonna be so much fun. So much fun.
After 4,000 years, I've finally awoken. Like, it's so good. This is kind of a compilation of all of the art we're gonna look at today.
Yeah.
Really just a nice, good close up of him. And really, I'm showing these because I care about the costume. I'm intrigued to see how it's gonna connect with Shazam and like differentiate itself from Shazam's costume.
Yeah.
Right here, we get to see what looks to be scales like on his shoulders. Wicked awesome. It does not look like his ears are gonna be pointy, but we'll see.
I mean, I think it's just fan art, or not fan art, but like, concept art.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying though, but yeah.
But normally they'd put those ears on him.
I love this shot. It looks Superman-like.
It does. And yeah, it does. Like, hold on, boom. Boom. Like, yeah,
yes, sir.
Let's go. I loved his intro. Obviously, this
really
is
cool.
Terrible resolution. I gotta take that off. It looks like we're going to get okay, I can do this. I cannot do it. The actor, I don't want to say his name wrong. DJ Ma. Anyways, who plays Shazam before Billy Batson.
Yeah, right.
It looks like
okay.
He's going to be in this, and they're going to go toe to toe potentially. I mean, at the very least, they're going to cover it in the origin story of him after he wakes up. It sounds like he's going to wake up after 4,000 years. This shot right here, when the crystal gets closer to his face, it turns into a skull because his human form is dead because it withers away. So he can never say the words Shazam again or he'll die.
Very cool.
Then this is an amazing piece of art.
This is the best shot. This is so cool. This is where it's like, oh, the hierarchy's changing. It's just you're getting the sense that he's this very powerful being and that he's coming for us in DC.
This is pulled straight from the comics as well, which I love even more, which reminds me of Loki in a way.
Throne shots are always the best. Throne shots, it's an easy way of doing it, honestly.
Always the best.
Yes.
Yeah. And so really the biggest thing I got to talk about, like, this movie's going to be awesome. Sounds like he's going to be fighting the Justice Society of America, which we've already kind of teased about. They introduced the actor that played Atom Smasher and they talked back and forth. It's going to be wicked dope. But
yes,
then he mentioned, he's got the power of Superman, but he put it basically like this. Well, think about all the powers of Superman without the restraint of Superman. Right. And it's like, oh shit. You sold me. Yeah. I mean, I was sold anyway, but he said it and just the way he said it. But at the very end, David, and remember when I had that tease for earlier?
Yes, sir.
We're here. He looks dead into the camera and he goes, but I just want to let everybody know. Shazam, Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman. The hierarchy of power in the DC universe has just changed. And if you don't like it, maybe do something about it. And it's so like,
good.
Oh shit. He's basically just going, hi, I'm The Rock.
Yeah.
Just bring it.
And
I'm like, so
this is The Rock, man.
Speculation time. I think Black Adam will go. There's some speculation that Superman is going to be in Shazam 2, which has just been announced, and we're going to have to tie it in together all here because this is like convoluted. This is deep balls dive fan theory. In Shazam 2, there's rumored that Superman's going to show up, and it's going to start at the end of the first movie with that cameo, and then they're going to have a discussion, and then there's a potential that Superman's going to help train Shazam and the Shazam family. Think about that for a moment. We've already talked about what that could be. If they do that, and then when Black Adam comes out, they have it back to, they go, I have this feeling that Superman would fight Black Adam before Shazam would get to Black Adam, just because Superman would find out about him first. And I want that movie to be a whole movie. Black Adam versus Superman.
Yeah.
And if there is one person on this planet who can make that happen, it's The Rock.
Yeah.
Because he'll be like, all right, what's your schedule, Henry? Cool.
What's your schedule, Henry?
Here's my schedule. Here's your schedule. We'll link it up. Boom. Like, tell me right now, if Black Adam fights Superman, you don't want it to be big old muscly nerd man Henry Cavill himself.
I love Henry Cavill. Please get me a Man of Steel 2.
I don't even give a damn about a Man of Steel 2 unless it has Black Adam in it. I want this fight. I just want this fight. Superman is so good, he may not even need he can literally, like, I feel like a Superman movie alone would be a little bit boring, only because I feel like to do a really good Superman movie, you got to be Clark a lot. And Clark's life, I think after Snyder Cut's going to be A-okay. Mama's there. He's going to get married, with good old Amy Adams. And then all of a sudden, I think Superman, I think the way they're going to use Superman is not give him his solo, but keep bringing him in on these other projects, but it's going to be centered around him at the same time. Hashtag, what's your Henry schedule? What's your Henry schedule? What's your schedule, Henry? And I'm just wicked stoked on this, bro. Like, it's been in the making for a long time, and The Rock is starting to look older. I recognized yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because now he can pull off like a 4,000-year-old person and have that kind of gravitas where it's like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Smoldering Intensity is that movie. Black Adam, Black Adam versus Superman, Smoldering Intensity.
Nailed it. Shazam in there too? Can Shazam make a appearance?
Okay, so have you seen the animated Batman and Superman versus Black Adam?
No.
Batman, Shazam, and Superman versus Black Adam would be the new version of this in live action. And I think that would be amazing. And I'm so excited because they all have wildly different tones of inner character.
Yeah.
But I think, they were talking about Atom Smasher growing up really big, and he likes the idea that Black Adam's tiny next to him. I think there's going to be some humor there. Be like, that's cheating. You're taking out more people because you have more mass. That's cheating. And then he'd be like, no. And then he's just like, kills people with his hands or something. Speaking of people who do amazing things with their hands, Batman. David, do we want to watch this entire trailer?
I do. Also, hi, Aunt Mary. I do, but should we? I don't know. I
don't know.
It's such a okay. No. Before we get to the trailer, let's just say a few thoughts on what we thought of the Batman panel. So this is the last thing we're doing for Fandome. We're gonna get to the Empire. We're getting there, people. We're gonna be running a little late today, but we're getting to Empire Strikes Back. We're gonna do Trilogy of Trilogies at some point, but soon. The Batman, no wonder they saved this for last. They saved the best for last. Like, honestly, going into it, I would have been like, oh, maybe you do Snyder Cut at the end because that's a very, exciting thing. It's a thing. It's a movie that fans have been crying for. No one's really been crying for the Batman, but they knew. They understood.
I have.
No, but like, it wasn't like, oh, hey, we're in the middle of Ben Affleck. He hasn't had a movie yet. Please make a different Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. Please. Like, there was no fan crying out for that. But it's what's happening, and it looks amazing. And back to what we were saying earlier, it's happening in a parallel universe. It's not happening in the DCU. We don't have to worry about the weight holding it down of that. We don't have to worry about Superman flying in or whatever. It's Gotham. It's Batman. He looks amazing. I mean, simply the way it looks is amazing. The story, I think, will also be there. But honestly, I mean, we're like 13 months out from this movie. 13. And this one trailer has already got me thinking this is gonna be a top Batman movie. And we're one trailer in. We're one trailer in, people. And I'm already thinking this is gonna be a top Batman movie.
I'm gonna one up you, bro. I think this is my Batman.
I know you do.
I think this is
He looks so good, and the Riddler.
I can feel myself like about to cry because I'm so freaking excited about this movie.
Kevin wants the trailer. Let's play the trailer. Let's talk over it.
I don't want to talk over it. I don't want to talk over it at all. Really, we're gonna play the trailer. There's some certain things that we're gonna try and pick apart. I have never been more excited to turn 30 in my life. Bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
This comes out on my 30th birthday, and it's interesting. October 1st, 2021.
Oh, we have to figure it out. Kevin, you too. Like, we have to watch this movie together. This movie's gonna be so good.
I'm so excited to be 30 now. It's like, oh, Batman. And the reason why, before we hop in, Batman the animated series came out in 1992, right after I was born, and I was watching that as a child. Like as a toddler, it was like, oh, it's Batman. My family because they watched Adam West Batman, so they didn't know what was going on. They didn't realize how dark that was and how much that imprinted on me. And they don't understand that I am vengeance.
Yeah. Let's hit the trailer.
This is time.
When the first started playing, I was like, wait, what is happening?
Same.
I'm like, what is this sound? I don't like this. And I'm like, oh.
Courtesy of IGN. Thank you.
This
IGN.
is Riddler.
All signs point to this being Riddler.
Yeah.
But the duct tape over the face, the fact he's wearing a mask, and the animated movie of Batman Hush, where Riddler is revealed to be Hush. I wonder if they're gonna do a play on that, where it starts out as Hush and then he becomes Riddler.
Yeah. And is this Batman? Do we see that's Batman? Okay.
Tell by the cape and the black.
The cape and the black.
A very, very dark gray.
Any of this mean anything?
I love Jeffrey Wright as
right there. He looks so good. Batman looks so good. He looks so good.
Oh my god, dude! This shot, Gotham by gaslight is important because that is what they've that is something they've hinted at as being an inspiration for the look, and this shot right here shows that. It's like it's an older vibe in the comic. The way that it is, it's got this like old steampunk kind of vibe, if I'm not mistaken. And this movie gives me a new era, a neo steampunk vibe.
I can't believe that this movie is like halfway through filming and we get this trailer.
Not even halfway. They filmed like 30% of it, he said, during the pandemic. He's like, I just want you to know we've only got 25 to 35% of this movie.
This movie, man.
Like, oh, shirt.
How much money would you pay to see it right now?
I don't know.
I know. I don't know either. It would be a lot more than a regular new movie ticket. I tell you that much, though. I mean, we're literally going to wait over 13 months for this movie, and they already have this trailer out. I hope we don't get another trailer for like 6 months or 7 months. Like, I don't want to see anything else. I wouldn't need to see anything. I will watch everything else, but I don't need to see anything else until it comes out, honestly. And we're over a year away.
Watch anything else? I think this is it. I think this is where this is all I need.
It's where you draw the line.
This is where I draw the line. I can't tell who that actor is. It kind of looks like
either.
So that shot is the Batman, is Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. It took me a while to figure that out. I had to listen to a breakdown earlier. So the first guy is dead. It looks like they're sending him messages. Zoe Kravitz coming in as the cat burglar. I loved that nod really quick. Right here to the ears.
Love it. That's very Batman Year One.
Yes, it is. And it just looks like it's a stocking, like just old school stocking cap where they just a cheap
and
one.
Note that this will be taking place during year 2 of the Batman being Batman.
Super important. Yes. Now let's get to this. That is Colin Farrell, bro.
I know. It's like he's unrecognizable.
Totally unrecognizable.
Ooh, that's a great shot right there.
Batman or Daredevil? I don't care.
Yeah.
I love that he fights some of the police. Like they get into a disagreement.
Especially him. I think he seems to like he's like nailed being a young Bruce way more than I think maybe Christian Bale did in Batman.
Yeah.
Begins.
Oh. He's got a two-face. So I'm gonna rewind just a hair. Nope, a little bit more of a hair. Right here. So this one of these kids has white paint on his left side of his face and none on the other. It's a it's a hint at Two-Face. Right. The first guy kind of looks like the Joker. All of these guys kind of have a Joker-y vibe, which is going to be very, very important to when I talk about ideas for the Joker, because I'm campaigning this moment forward to be the Joker in this movie. I think I have a very unique, messed up take. But let's listen to the best part of this entire trailer.
I'm vengeance.
So Kevin asks what we think of the voice. It reminds me a lot of Charlie Cox's Daredevil from the Netflix series. And that is a very, very positive thing. I love Daredevil from Netflix. I think it's a great series, and the whole character kind of looks like him.
Yeah, I agree. I love it, and we don't.
It's a real voice. It's a real voice.
It's a real voice. Yeah, and it sounds pained. Like
it's not automated. It's not. Where is she? It's a normal voice of someone who is running around as a bat. Yeah. And has a disturbed life and has a guy who writes riddles and is trying to kill everyone. This movie
is bonkers.
It's going. The problem with this trailer. Here's the problem with the trailer, Thomas. You ready for the problem with this trailer? It's setting the bar so high. Like it's making my brain just work so much to think about how good this movie could be and how good this little part of a cinematic little like the Batman 1, 2, and 3. Like, you know, I'm already getting the real, like, I know you are too. I want to hear all your Joker thoughts. Like, they're setting something up here in this like alternate DCEU, which I think is brilliant. Like, I know some people probably are going to be like not big fans of that. It's not in the DCEU or whatever, but I love that Joker. I love Joker. And it was even like an Elseworld movie. They described that. So even farther away from this, where there could be a Robert Pattinson pop up at some point in the future in a DCU film or something where they said it's just a multiverse. But anyway, this trailer to me, I can't believe they only shot 30%. That's number one. And number two, it sets the bar so high. But I honestly think it's gonna hit the bar I'm setting. You know, like the story, we're not getting much of the story here at all. Like we really don't. We kind of see what's happening, but not really. Like, yeah,
I think we get just enough of the story that we need to be a teaser, which is he's obvious. I mean, he's Batman. We know he's Batman. We're not going to worry about that bull crap. But instead, we're going to drop him right into one of the most important moments in his life and his career as Batman in terms of trying to solve a massive, insane serial killer for the first time.
I just can't believe that they're actually this movie, like this Matt Reeves movie that's been rumored for so many years, that was possibly going to have Ben Affleck and all these different things where it's this film. Like this is what he's been dreaming of. And I think because they're making it outside of the DCEU, he's getting the ability. That's the problem. Like if this was in the DCEU, he wouldn't be able to make the movie he's trying to make right now. And he's able to, and I'm just very excited. So
all I'm saying is the DCEU is an entire multiverse.
Right. So it's kind of hard to kind of
see, Warner Brothers, I can be a salesman for you as well. Just like Harley Quinn. Buy HBO Max right now and hire me.
The DCEU.
Glad you got let's watch the rest of this trailer because it's something else. I love that.
I love the way it looks with the makeup.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
it is beautiful, and that is what Batman obviously looks like when he takes off his mask.
I love his long hair.
Yeah, that threw me off.
Yeah,
like
I like it a lot.
I wasn't expecting that, but I like it. It adds this very, like, I don't expect him to be going out as Bruce Wayne that much, and the way that they're setting the tone of this universe is that, if you had your parents killed at a young age and then you grew up to be a bat, you literally would not look like a sane person very often.
I can't wait for in 13 months us to be doing the episode where we talk about the Batman.
Oh my god, I'm so ready.
Anyway, Thomas, I really want to hear what you have to say about the Joker and all those fan theories you got going on.
Oh boy. We got
to get the Empire at some point. So
we got to get the Empire. So I think that I'm gonna go back because I'm gonna use clips from this trailer to actually help guide me.
Yeah,
they have some very specific and important things.
So essentially, Thomas, is what you're kind of just by texting me. What I picked up is that you think you could. I too could see one of the first thoughts I had actually watching the trailer was that a Joker character would fit really well in this universe. It's not going to be Joaquin Phoenix, but a Joker. So what are you thinking?
So this gang here are obviously clowns, right? They paint up to scare everybody. And they have a very, they've got a Heath Ledger style paint on how they do it. Baldy McBalderson here has I mean, it looks exactly like Heath Ledger in how it's drawn on his face, the smile, if you will.
Yes.
And, they have a Dia de Muertos kind of vibe, the Day of the Dead. I don't think I said that right. Anyways, the Day of the Dead from Mexican lore, it kind of comes off like that just for this crew. But I thought that, for me, I don't want to give too much away because I am trying to get this job now. Like I wrote a lot out. I've already done a lot of research on this character in the last 12 hours. So the Joker, I could see him infiltrating this gang because he needs a place to belong. But because he is a literal sociopath, he only cares, pulling from Star Wars. Once you obtain power, you only want more, right? Well, I think that he would get in there, and once he sees that someone is incapable, he would take them out. You kill anybody that gets in your way. And he would rise up through the ranks. It could be quickly. I mean, sometimes to be the top dog, you just got to go in there and take out the top dog. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that the Joker could then, he would have one goal once he got to this level, to being the top of this gang is, well, I need more power. Well, I can make deals with friends, with people to obtain a little bit more power. And then at any point in time, because he's a sociopath, he'll kill the deal and the partnership and the person and just absorb their income. And he wins by fear, pure, unadulterated fear, exactly like Batman. The only difference is Batman has that restraint. He doesn't. He doesn't care. It's not that he's insane. He just does not care. He weighs the consequences of his actions as
it's not that he's insane. He just doesn't care.
And then he gains the favor of the other underground because he comes up with the goal of trying to kill the Batman. And if you aim for the stars, if you miss, you'll at least blow up the moon, right? And he would eventually get these other villains, Penguin, Riddler, anybody else that they build up into this universe, and they would kind of create this rogues gallery attack where they go after the Batman. But at every turn, the Joker, I can't use that word, screws up everything because he's always willing to go further than anybody else can dream.
I will say this is setting this, just with the looks of it, it seems very it's dark, obviously as Batman should be, but I think it's it seemed just seething with villainy, and I think it's setting up what could be a really good rogues gallery by the end of a trilogy, theoretically, like you're saying, basically.
And you want to know the most important part of this Joker? He's a gangster, not like a I run this gang. No, he's a genuine gangster in how you would think of the worst, Don Corleone without the honor and the duty. You know, things like that. Does not care about the rules. Does not care about the Falcone rules.
Jared Leto done right.
In a way, yes. I think, you know, I like Jared Leto's take on it. I do. I would
like to see more, honestly.
Same. But I think this would be in take the idea that they had, you know, he's a gangster and he's running these things. But instead of showing him having fun, it would be more along the lines of him doing it because that's what he has to do. And it's not personal. It's business.
Yeah.
You know, just like, and then I've already worked on my voice for it.
Telling you, man.
Like when I say gangster, I do genuinely think of Godfather. Like that is how he would run Gotham. Yeah. But he would be relentless.
Yeah.
Because he would never relent. What we do in the shadows joke for my friends out there. I think that the Joker, whether it's in the next movie or the movie after, is going to be someone. And the reason that I'm making him this cerebral and this messed up in my head is because look at what they showed us of Bruce and Batman. Dude is tortured.
Yeah.
So how do you take someone who's just as messed up and make it different? Well, he's not tortured. He doesn't care about the things he does. He does it because it has to be done. And to obtain power, you got to take everybody else out.
You know, one thing I'm thinking, I'm hoping they're not. I could see where they would be. They would be, you know, tentative to push a Joker villain in the next film, just because this Joker's been done so many times. You know, like at this point, I think Leto, while we both kind of said we like to see more, kind of screwed things up where it made it so there's almost been like one too many happening lately. Where like if they all of a sudden had a fourth one, it'd be like, so I think maybe some general fans would be like, wait, what? Or like where? Because I know even some people that were like, wait, was Joker, was that Joaquin, or was that Heath Ledger's Joker in the Joker movie? Even after watching it, people were like, because that's the thing. Sometimes I feel like we lose, like, you know, we're like crazy big fans and we talk to a lot of crazy big fans, but some general audience members, I think we kind of lose sight of their thoughts sometimes and how they kind of can perceive things. And I'm just hoping, because I'm with you. Like, I love the kind of the take you're saying with like him being a gangster and stuff. I think in this world, I think you nailed it. Like it could work really well. I'm just hoping WB won't be scared to go with a Joker route, because I think it would work really well in this. And I think we're getting some of those kind of those feelings you get when you see a Joker from Riddler almost in a way in this movie. So
yeah,
I think it would work really well. But I also could see where Batman has so many good characters, like a Mr. Freeze done right, or something more interesting. I mean, they're bringing back Penguin for this movie. Like, go more deep into the Rogues Gallery and bring out someone else. So the Joker is obviously the mainstay of you know, DC comic book villains in general. So it's hard not to do him, especially if it creates this gritty world like we're going to live in this. So also I want to point out this film, they made a point, I think, in the panel that it's being filmed in England and that Gotham is going to have a different feeling to it than, say, Nolan's or the DCEU's Gotham, where it'll feel a little more
gothic.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that exactly nailed it. Like gothic and dreary, I think, and not in like a Joker way, but in more of like a
visual way.
Yeah, exactly. Like not just like everyone's terrible, but it just looks more dreary and yeah.
The reason, basically, I can sum it up. They picked the location because of it was the origin of Gothic architecture, and so they're using that as the main level, and then they're building on top of that for their, like, you know, industrialism of Gotham after that. So it sounds like they're using practical and digital effects to kind of make it what it what they envision. And it sounds like it's a marriage of Burton and Nolan.
Yeah. And it's interesting,
like, dude.
It's pretty cool to think that Joker was filmed in New York and it had very New York vibes. That Gotham they made in Joker was very New York. And it's cool that it can still be, intrinsically, it can still be fundamentally Gotham, but have a different feeling, like from Joker to Batman, but still be this rough place, grounded. I think Batman is going to be very grounded in its own new way, just like Nolan's was. I think this movie will be more grounded than Nolan's movies. I mean, I think the Ra's al Ghul element, just to Batman Begins, made a little more out there. I think this movie, I think this whole, what they're building here with this possible Batman, the Batman trilogy maybe, will be a little more actually grounded than Nolan's trilogy, which is surprising because everyone always references the Nolan trilogy as being this grounded thing. But I think because of the Ra's al Ghul element, I doubt they mess with that with this. I think it seems so it's focused on Gotham, it's focused on character, it's focused on struggle, like in the city, and I'm all in. I'll tell you right now. I mean, they knew what they were doing, saving this for last, because I am all in. I've talked to friends, they're all in. Like, it's just like, wow. Everyone I've talked to that's seen the trailer has been like, whoa, this looks awesome. Yeah. I mean, and surprising, because I think that's why they did it last, because it's like no one was really expecting a big trailer like this.
There's no way they could go anywhere else.
They knew what they had, and yeah, I honestly cannot wait, man. This is I'm glad we say this for last, because this is how DC fandom had to end, because it's just everything else has been fun we've been talking about today. Wonder Woman, Shazam, even Snyder Cut. Snyder Cut's a remake. This is a new thing.
The original. But.
It's touche. It's and I don't even know how to put what Snyder Cut is at this point.
It's the Snyder Cut.
It's setting wrongs right, is what Snyder Cut is. And this movie is creating something new and building off of this is the thing, though. We talked about it way earlier, like an hour ago. We said Fandome was filled with Batman and ended with the Batman. And Batman, to me, is the best DC character, in my opinion. That's just me. He's my favorite DC character. He has the best villains, everything about him. I think he's just the best. And this movie is setting up to be one of the best movies, and I cannot wait, man.
The only thing I have left to say on this, because that was amazing, is there are rumors that Matt Reeves has already written stuff for the Joker. And they were looking, like they were saying that he already has ideas for Joker, and he already has ideas on how to make how to bring Joker in to his movies, more likely than not in the second, but even more possible the third, to kind of close it all out as like a series of escalation.
Yeah. And I hope they take their time with this franchise. I hope they really don't rush it like they do, because I feel like nowadays we get a lot of like, ooh, 2 years later, we're popping them out. DC less so, because I think there's been a lot of stumbles along the way with DC, but like, this is like Star Wars, Marvel, we're getting a lot of quick. I hope they take their time with it. I hope we really get to fall in love with the character. That's part of it. Okay, I'm not going to dive in. Well, maybe it's a good transition, because in Star Wars, in the new movies, I feel like they blew past the sequel trilogy so quickly that we almost didn't get time to fall in love with the characters and really digest it. Whereas now we're flying through right now the original trilogy, and you just love the characters as you're watching it. And I hope that a franchise like this, the Batman, they can take their time. And even though it's going to be critically probably acclaimed, hopefully they won't be like, oh, green light, get it out in 18 months. Like, no, take your time. Let us keep watching it over and over, and let us build the hype. There's something to that. I think Star Wars recently has missed that, and I hope they're taking their time more. And I think it shows that the OG trilogy that we're now going to talk about with Empire Strikes Back, like, you feel it in just this film. Empire Strikes Back is kind of a small flick. Like, the story of it, like watching it again, I'm like, there's not. It honestly, it happens in like a day or two. At least it feels that way. I mean, that's a thing, though. It feels that way, but then also Luke's like learned so much from his training and all this stuff. But anyway, I just hope they take their time with the Batman. I think it's being treated really well. I'm happy it's outside the DCEU, or it's DCEUU. And here we go. Thomas, what are we moving on to?
We have one fan question. We're just weird middle palate cleanser. What are your thoughts on Space Jam: A New Legacy? It's going to have a $240 million budget.
Yeah. So I don't know what you know about this movie.
Really quick before, courtesy of Strop Smoking on YouTube. Thank you for your comment and joining us.
Yes, thank you. I'm a big LeBron guy, so I'm pretty excited for Space Jam. They just came out with the new. They showed, it was like a 3-second little tease of the new jerseys and stuff. I'd look pretty cool. Not exactly like the originals, but they seem like a 2020 take on what Space Jam will be. We've got like no news on what the story will be. We know there's like a bunch of other NBA stars joining LeBron on the journey of Space Jam, A New Legacy. So I'm excited. I think it'll be really good. I think the movie will get more like viewers if like the Lakers go out and win the championship this year, just because like I feel like it'll kind of build the hype, or just like see like, oh yeah, LeBron's still the best. You know, like when Michael Jordan made the first, he had just come back from baseball. He was striving. Anyway, so I'm very excited, but I'm a big basketball fan and obviously LeBron fan. So Thomas, like from what you've seen, are you excited for this movie?
I'll watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm not that big of a basketball fan, but I love Space Jam. And I'm intrigued to see how they kind of take what we already know and play with it a little bit more. And it looks like it's going to be made from a place of love more than money grabbing. Because LeBron loved Space Jam growing up.
Oh yeah, no, he seems like it's a very passionate project. Like he's all in on the producing and all that. So it's not. And it's been kind of it's been a highly rumored thing that LeBron, if anyone did a Space Jam 2, it would be LeBron. So anyway, thank you for the question. I'm very excited.
David, next bit, it's you, man. Tell me how your experience was.
Yes. So guys, as you can see, this is me in a movie theater. I went back. I actually just signed up for Regal Unlimited. I've transferred over. I'm a trader. I left AMC A-list. And now I am on the Regal Unlimited train because where I live has 3 Regals around it. Only one is actually open right now. Fun fact. So Regal is opened. And I went back yesterday. So it ended up being perfect. We're doing our trilogy of trilogies. Watched The New Hope last week. This, I think it was Thursday or Friday. The theater opened back up. And one of the classic movies they were playing was Empire Strikes Back. So I'm like, hey, might as well go see it in theaters. You know, kind of just get going on what I'm doing with the movie, like get back into the theater. Don't have to start with New Mutants next week. Anyway, so I went back. It was pouring rain. I actually was late to the movie. When I took that picture, I was like late and all wet, but I wanted to get a picture just to kind of document that I was there and back in the theater. So just a quick little summary of how it went. You know, everyone had their masks up at the Regal I went to. It was very nice. Like it's all those nice kind of electric reclining seats. And at those, you only have to do one separation because they're so like big. They don't make it be 2. And it's cool actually. So all of the in that theater, all of the seats you do when you buy it ahead of time, it's assigned seating. You don't just walk in there and pick your seat. And I think everywhere it's gonna have to kind of be like that, to really control social distancing. But it was there. And when I signed up for the ticket, I could see where other people were sitting. It told me where there were seats to, the social distance seats that you could not choose from and the available seats. So I chose one in the back. I had a couple to my right, 2 seats away, and then another couple to my left, 1 seat away. Got sat in. Hoth was playing. It was right when Han was just like saving Luke. So anyway, it was a really good experience. It was my first time seeing Empire in theaters, which was awesome. It was really cool. Like it was fun. Honestly, it made me feel kind of back in a way. There was a good amount of people in the theater. Even I felt, I didn't feel any discomfort like safety wise. Like I felt good. I had my mask on. I was eating some candy, but then like when I was done with that, I kind of just pull my mask back up, and everything was pretty nice, pretty sanitized, and it was cool just to be able to be back in the theater. And people were laughing at jokes and cheering, and some of us even clapped at the end of the movie. And I'm like, wow. It made me just smile. I'm like, yes, like I'm back I love, like I've talked about it before in this podcast. I love going out to the movie theater, having a collective experience like that. And there was a part where when Leia kisses Luke, the couple to my left, the girl was like, that's his sister. And there's little stuff like that. So really enjoyable. I already have my tickets next Friday for New Mutants. Hopefully I'll be able to get out there and see it. They used a cool poster for Empire Strikes Back. It's actually a newer poster they used for the
40th
movie.
anniversary.
Yeah, very cool. It was awesome seeing I am your father in theaters. There was a lot of stuff that I had never seen in theaters, so it was really cool to see. I almost want to go see another classic movie in there, and so really enjoyable experience. It was, I mean, just great time. Like not even a coincidence how great the timing was when it came to our podcast and the theater opening back up. Where perfect time to go see it. So yeah, super awesome. Happy to be back. I personally felt like it was a safe experience. Like I don't think if you want to talk about like in that sense, I really felt very comfortable. So anyway, I would totally recommend, just wear your mask, social distance, but enjoy it and like enjoy the people around you at the same time. Like I was in earshot and there could still be the collective laughs and all those sort of things that I missed. Mm-hmm. Very fun. I was actually surprised how many people were there, really. It is the only one. There's 3 in the area. There's 3 Regals in the Gainesville area. And it's the only one open right now. So kind of a slow rollout from Regal, which I think we already kind of had read into, but I'm actually seeing it in real life where there's only the one that's actually opening. So and it's only a 10 theater, where the other ones are actually bigger. So it makes sense. There's more people in there. So very fun. Really enjoyed it. Empire Strikes Back. Here we go.
I'm jealous. I kept looking, and all the Empire Strikes Back showings were sold out in Tallahassee, and Dothan's not open, and Destin didn't have it, but Pensacola did. But I wasn't driving 2 hours. I didn't have 7 hours of my day to be free to go over there, so I'm really sad. And I guess I'll see you in hell.
So Thomas, we got to make this somewhat quick. We're driving. We're pushing time. Fandome's taking up a lot of our time, but the lights are getting shut off on us. They're telling us to leave. But our trilogy of trilogies has brought us to the Empire Strikes Back once again, similar to the Dark Knight trilogy, where in our opinion the sequel is the best. It's like I said, it was awesome seeing in theaters. It was a different experience for me because it was cool. There's little things you just catch in the theater that you don't see on your screen at home. So very fun. I will say my biggest looks awesome.
It looks so much better than I thought it would.
looks awesome. And Empire Strikes Back, one of the biggest takeaways from me is I absolutely love Han in it. He is so good in this movie. I mean, I honestly never really understood. I understood. I love Han. He's always been a great character. But this, almost rewatching this in theaters the other day was wow, yeah. No wonder everyone loved Harrison Ford and this character so much at the time because he's just so on the whole movie. Just great act. I think to me, it almost feels like you notice he's just the best actor out of the main 3, in my opinion. He's just he's the guy. He could have been carrying the movie. And Luke's story is awesome. I love Luke's story. And the explanation from Yoda about the Force and how it binds us and controls us and how to use it. It's one of those movies where you sit back and you're just like, oh man, this is Star Wars right here. This is Star Wars compared to anything else. It is just Star Wars through and through. The story is tight. We're not getting too much. It's simple, character driven, consequences to what they're doing. We have a empire just on their tail, go full forward, and they're terrified of them. They're terrified. They do anything to stay away from them. You feel the real fear in them. Luke is just this inspiring. He just he's just searching for answers, and you can just feel that in him. He knows he did great in New Hope. He blew up the Death Star, but he's there's more here. There's more to me. And anyway, I love this movie. It was awesome seeing the lightsaber scene was awesome. And it's really the first one we get in Star Wars because in New Hope, we have the one with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, but that's nothing really compared to this one. That one's pivotal story-wise, but actual action, So enjoyable. I really enjoy the scene with Yoda and Obi-Wan and Force Ghost talking to Luke, trying to convince him not to go. That's a really important moment. It was funny hearing the Yoda dialogue with Luke saying, hey, you're always, affixed on the horizon, never on now. And then we get that callback in episode 8. So that was awesome. I love seeing Yoda as the original where it's animatronic. He is this you kind of forget, because we're so used to just knowing everything about Star Wars, like how they were trying to tell the story and how Yoda, like the introduction was like, oh, how could this little green nothing like creature be the Jedi Master? And it's so simple, but so perfect. It's like, yes. And pulling the X-Wing out of the water and just all the kind of analogies and metaphors thrown into that sort of stuff, I think is so prominent and makes these stories so good. It's not just this action flick. It's not just a sci-fi flick. There's a lot of real human storytelling happening here, and a lot of humor and a lot of fun. So that's my spiel. Thomas, you watched it today. What was your thoughts rewatching Empire Strikes Back?
I unfortunately, because of how yesterday went, I spent the entire time also working on these graphics that you see all day.
Yeah.
So I was a little. Oh, thank you. Stop. I was a little bit more removed than I wanted to be, but I'll probably be rewatching this before I watch Jedi just to absorb it a little more. Hoth is the greatest Star Wars opening of all time. There. You're welcome, universe. And really, this movie, I have very few notes, but there's something I really want to talk about that I thought about earlier this week, and watching it again today, I noticed it even more. And it's about Leia. We love you, Leia. But my next point is, this movie is so good that it is the original trilogy film that has the least amount of CGI updates.
Yes, I noticed that.
They only really did, in terms of what they updated, are some of the matte paintings in the back for establishing shots. I think they took them and extended them and made them larger, so you get more
Cloud
view.
City, right? Too.
Yeah, Cloud City. So that's about the only thing that they really changed that I've seen and I've heard other people talk about, and that's the only one they usually can see as well. And then knowing, so you don't know this, but in the comics after number 4, one of the first thing that Vader does is he hires a bounty hunter to find out who Luke Skywalker is, or who's the person that blew up the Death Star. He was obviously force sensitive. I need to find him. Then he gets a name from Boba Fett, Skywalker.
Yeah.
And he knows that in the comics. So when Vader, when the Emperor says, I have no doubt that this is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker. And he's like, but how?
Yeah.
Search your feelings, Vader. You know it to be true.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay. Well, really, knowing that he already knows, he's like, you son of a bitch. I knew you knew. It just changes that. And it shows that Vader is more conniving and more intelligent than, that scene is like, oh, he didn't know. Especially when it's like, oh, I'm your son, like I'm your father. Search your feelings, you know it to be true. It kind of, instead of being like, oh, he finds out there, he finds out far beforehand. But this is just a confirmation, and he's looking for answers from good old Palpy. But Palpy ain't got no answers. You know what?
Yeah.
If I ever have kids, I'm gonna make my grandchildren call me Palpy. I do it. So the big thing that I really wanted to talk about in this movie is Leia was always teased as being force sensitive, and we should have gotten more Leia stories. And in this movie, especially, like I was watching it, I thought of this while listening to our. This sounds like I little narcissistic, but I listen to our podcast sometimes to find little nuggets of information that weren't brought up that I think about, that I was thinking about. Yeah. Or, it kind of brings up, and that is something I thought of. I'm like, she really did know a lot about what was happening in that movie, and she acts like she doesn't know.
Right.
You think she's the damsel, but the entire time she's the only one who knows what's going on. And in this movie, it's kind of the same thing. You know, the Minox, you know, the only time she doesn't really understand is the Minox situation. Well, what are you doing? We're not in a cave, sweetheart. And it's like, what?
right.
But that's okay, because like, I don't know. I don't even think Luke would have been able to sense the living being.
No.
But I never, as a kid, understood when he's like, Leia, hear me.
That's
Leia.
awesome.
Luke. We have to go back for Luke. I know where he's at.
That part gives me chills when like you just see her face.
Such great subtle
She's like,
acting in her. She's just like, Luke.
Yeah.
I know where he's at. I don't know how I know where he's at, but I know where he's at. We gotta go. And I love that is in that moment. The kiss that they have.
Yeah.
You know, in the novelization and a bunch of other works, as soon as she walks out, she's like, oh, that was disgusting. Like that's her reaction. When she's away from Han Solo and she gets to absorb what she did, she's like, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
Blah. And then it's even said that she feels like she was kissing her brother.
Right.
And it's like, oh wow.
Well, she wants them. I will say
wants.
the like tension, the like romantic tension between Han and Leia in this movie is amazing. Like it's and obviously it leads to I love you. I know. One of the best lines. I mean, this movie just it has two of the like best lines in pop culture, honestly.
Yeah.
And one of them is always missaid. It's not Luke, I'm your father. It's no, I know I am your father. So good. And I love Mark Hamill's like kind of overacting there. He's like, no, like he's just like freaking out, but it makes sense because he's like he does
like you just found out that
nightmare.
your father is the biggest killer in the galaxy.
Yeah, and it all makes sense, and it's like you search your feelings, you know it to be true, and he knows, like it's like you can just you know he knows that's right.
I used to hate that bit, but then like I started looking at it in that same way. It's like he search your feelings, you know it to be true, and that's when he goes, no,
yeah,
because then it's just my father was trained by Anakin's by Obi-Wan, and his apprentice that turned to the dark side trained Obi-Wan, and then it's like he's piecing together the point of views that he was given, and it's all kind of shattering before him. But Leia, I used to not like how she hated Lando, and I didn't know why. I think it was just because I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be with Luke and I wanted the lightsaber duels as a kid.
Right.
But now I see it as she's the only one who knows. As soon as before they get there, she's like, "Are you sure we should go here?" Yeah. It's like, do you trust him? Well, of course not. He is my friend. Yeah. And it's like, okay, but he's genuinely not worried the whole time.
Shout out Lando, by the way. Great character. I love Cloud City in general. And
when you think about, was it L3 or L5 from Solo, that she is basically the Millennium Falcon as well? Like that adds a whole new meaning when he's like, you know what you did. And he's like, I forgot about that. Like, it's like, you know what you've done. And then he's messing with him the whole time, but really he's not that messing with him. It's confusing. Yeah. But she's the whole time she's against it. She doesn't want to be there. She sees the trap coming. She's like, something feels wrong here. And it's like, it feels wrong.
Yeah.
I love this movie, dude. It is amazing. And I feel like I'm not doing this movie the service it needs to be because I was working during it and I don't have a lot of like notices. Yeah. It's all right. But it's so effing good, dude.
I agree with your sentiment about Hoth. Hoth's a great opening. It just gets the movie going, dude. You just move and it doesn't stop. That's what's so fun about this film is that in the middle it kind of slows. It slows in the middle, and that's I think what some people's critique about this movie is that the Dagobah and in the Falcon them avoiding the Empire for like 30 minutes, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's character building. The Dagobah stuff, it's a little slow with Yoda, but I love it. I just think it's such great story building for just Star Wars in general. And it's such a great reference point. Anywhere in Star Wars, you just reference Dagobah and like that whole him training and stuff. And it's honestly the basis of a lot of stuff we see now in and how you can see into the future with the Force, and you can see all these things, and it's like,
Yeah.
honestly, when I heard Yoda say that, I'm like, man, I'm surprised they don't like use that more. And we see it in episode 3 with Anakin.
Yes.
Anyway,
so you were talking about like it's good character building. You also have to remember that when this movie came out, your heroes never lose.
yeah.
So like in that middle, you're like, okay, well, they're gonna get out of this. Like, it's no big deal. They're gonna get out of this. And then, oh, okay, Luke's gonna do his thing and he's learning. He's the only one who's not really in danger. And then it's like, oh, Han and Leia are in trouble. Oh my, they're captured by the Empire. Oh, they knew they were gonna go there. Oh, they've been outsmarted this whole time. Oh my.
Yeah.
And Vader the whole time is just like, you have failed me for the last time, Admiral.
Oh, right. And that's like a recurring kind of shtick to this movie where like he just keeps like killing whoever is next up the bat. And it's awesome to see, especially reading some of the comics like of like before this just in general of his kind of rise and stuff. It's really cool seeing how he just kind of owns that place, and it's like, oh, they just like cower, and it's like you have to adhere to him. And it's not as, I think sometimes in the comics they dive more into Palpatine kind of being his boss and all that sort of thing, but you kind of see in these movies and before Return of the Jedi that Vader is just like the lead, he is the boss, and the Emperor is really just like back in the shadows. Like you don't really see him, and it's perfect that way. I think it's great. Like it's important to see Vader being so powerful and so just in charge, like the boss who just has full control. And that's why I love Vader. Is really this movie. He's awesome in it.
I don't really have much left to say on this, but you really need to go read the Darth Vader stuff.
The new one.
Set between 4 and 5. Because what happens to Vader after episode 4 is insane.
I will. And I really want to read the new one that's after episode 5, or at least, I mean, there's only one on Marvel Unlimited right now, which is what I have. So, yeah, anyway.
The first 4. Wow. And I read Kylo last night.
Oh, you did?
Dude. No,
you like it?
I like it a lot, dude. I dig it. I
really enjoy the Star Wars comics, the new Marvel Star Wars comics. I really like them.
Yeah, I do too. I'm
especially Vader, but I'm a big Vader guy.
Yeah,
so
same, bro. So I definitely recommend you going back and trying to get the reading order, because there are certain things that he pops up in that are important. Like they have some crossovers. Then there's Vader Target and Vader Down, and like when I say Empire Strikes Back, Vader is the height of his powers.
Yeah.
Like we saw it in Rogue One, but really his failure after 4 leads to why he chokes out everybody in 5.
Right.
You failed me for the last time, Admiral.
Yeah, he's over it.
Captain Piet, get your generals to blah, blah, blah. Do not fail me, Admiral Piet. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Also in this movie, we get the shot of his bald head that's all scarred up and stuff, which is just like an awesome fan out moment that is just kind of underrated nowadays, but it's like so cool that was just thrown in there. Anyway,
I have a question for you from the comments. From Ryan, is Sprite sponsored, David?
It's always sponsored. I love Sprite, or it's my Bud Light Seltzer I'm drinking. we got
Black Cherry is the best from Kevin Smith.
I had this pineapple one, and it's actually really good. Anyway,
David. Side note, I don't really have much left on the Empire.
I don't, man. We've had a great show today. We went through all of DC Fandome. We talked about one of the best Star Wars movies ever, my favorite of all time. What's up?
Okay. Never mind. Sorry. Apologies. I distracted everyone because I have a question for David, but we're going to wrap up Star Wars and we're going to tease what we have our next week on.
Yes, sir.
For our tournament of trilogies, because I have another graphic ready.
Oh, all right.
So if you want to give us the good old sexy David voice on in.
Oh, what am I saying?
What we have next week.
Oh, so wait.
Just for the tournament of trilogies.
So this week, upcoming, we have the head-to-head matchup of...
Oh, that's not what I meant. But yeah, that works. Actually, we do need to recap that because it's been a long show.
Yes. You meant Trilogy of Trilogies. Like for
we have too many.
This is trilogies.
Trilogy.
So go vote, guys. It'll be up tomorrow, hopefully. Indiana Jones versus Jurassic Park. You will decide our next trilogy of trilogies. Obviously, right now we are doing Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, the OG Star Wars. And next week we will be doing Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Nice graphic.
Right?
Nice. Shout out to the green lightsaber. I am still pissed it didn't pop up in the sequel trilogy. I love the green lightsaber. That is all. No. The one flashback.
2 flashbacks.
Okay.
Points of views.
You're right. The 2 flashbacks, but I wanted it now. Anyway,
I wanted to go to Tashi Station and pick up the power converters.
Yes, Return of the Jedi next week. I love Return of the Jedi. I know it's probably my second favorite Star Wars movie, I think. I really, really enjoy it. So I love the way it ends. Next week, probably next Sunday, we will be doing Star Wars Return of the Jedi. I hope you guys can all tune in for that as well.
And it will be next Sunday.
Yes, sir.
30th, I believe. Yes, 30th of August. So we hope you'll join us then. David, do you see the message that I sent? Because while you do that, I will plug where I can be found on the social media. Facebook. Thomas Carter Rochester -actor on Facebook. You can find me at Thomas Carter Rochester, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces on Instagram, at Thor Son of Dale on TikTok, RIP to that, at TC Rochester. That is TC Rochester, ACT. And of course, you can find me on Life of Thor YouTube channel, where you can watch me watch The Mandalorian. Thor watches The Mandalorian, and I have a lot of decisions to make. I think I'm going to have to do Thor watches The Mandalorian season 1 live watch along to see how I like it for season 2.
Yeah.
And that would be starting in 2 weeks.
No way.
Yeah. Because I have to get them. I'm going to try to do them weekly.
Wait, Mandalorian comes out in 2 weeks?
Mandalorian season 2 comes out October 7th ish.
Oh, okay.
So I need 8 weeks to watch the episodes.
Oh, right. Okay, I see. Thomas, yes, it is confirmed.
Okay.
So
do that next. Just tell everyone where you can be found on the social medias.
Yes, you guys can find me at my name, David Thompson, on Facebook, David J. Thompson on TikTok and Instagram, and David Thompson with 2 A's in the David Thompson on Twitter. Thomas, what's coming up? We got a busy week.
We do have a busy week on our Lights Thunder Action Show Facebook page, as well as the HWWS WebTV channel on YouTube. And of course, you can find all of our extra little updates on LTA Podcasting. That is an action verb, ing, for the Twitter. But I did not get my graphics set up for this. That's okay. This upcoming week, we have 2 mega interviews, one of which was confirmed today, and the other of which we've had confirmed for a little bit. In chronological order, tomorrow we will be interviewing William Sadler of Bill and Ted fame. He plays the Grim Reaper in Bogus Journey, and he'll be playing the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted 3, Face the Music. That'll be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning.
Yep.
It'll be
a quick one.
It'll be quick. It's going to be 10 to 15 minutes, give or take.
If you miss it, don't worry. It'll be up on Facebook, YouTube, all those things.
Exactly. It'll be a nice little bonus episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
Just to learn about him as a human being. Like, I don't even care about the art. I mean, I care about the art, but I really want to know about him as a person. Yeah. So that'll be really fun. And then on Tuesday evening at 8 is it 7? David? I thought
it was 8 p.m. Eastern.
I don't know the time off the top of my head. Holy crap. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Okay.
Tuesday, August the 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be interviewing Melinda M. Snodgrass, who is a science fiction writer who's been a story developer for Star Trek The Next Generation, Odyssey 5, honestly, a host of other science fiction stuff, as well as novels. And she's on a part of George R.R. Martin's science fiction writing staff for like a magazine that puts together short stories.
Yeah.
So
very cool. Very exciting. Busy
very
week
exciting.
tomorrow and Tuesday. We have some interviews. The Tuesday one will definitely be more of a full length interview that will go on. But tomorrow will be very short, very fun, short and sweet. And then obviously next Sunday, we'll bring him back with the news. Much shorter than today's, I'm sure, because we won't have a whole DC fandom to react to. And of course, Trilogy of Trilogies, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. And we'll be announcing our next trilogy we'll be reviewing. So tune in for that. Thank you all so much. This has been a very fun episode.
Yes, we love you. We thank you for joining us. And this has been the 21st episode of Lights, Thunder, Action. We'll see you next week.